Good evening, everyone. If everybody can grab a seat, we're going to go ahead and get started. Well, good evening and welcome. I want to thank everybody for coming out. It's such a beautiful day. You could be doing so many other things outside, but you decided to come and join us on the reveal of the new design, which we're excited about. But before we get started, I'm going to ask the mayor to come up and say a few words. Mayor.
Thank you, Mo, and good evening. We're very excited about where we are in the project, and of course just in the design phase, and appreciate all of your help as we work to build the dream here at the new King Center. Before I know I'm standing in between the unveiling of the new designs here that took a lot of the feedback that was gathered over the past few meetings, but we've had a sneak peek here earlier today, and it's looking good. One big thing I think you'll notice, not to give it away, but a big change from what you saw last time is a second gym. And that's something that came directly from you. That wasn't something that the mayor or anyone else was saying, hey, we need to have two gyms. That came from the feedback that we got from all of you, so we appreciate that, and you'll see that in a minute. With this change, we do have to be transparent and upfront about this. We are looking to be slightly over budget. So if you recall, we had $11 million already dedicated toward this project, and now it's looking to be closer to $17 million. So part of that is contingency with planning for inflation. Costs are crazy. That accounts for probably about $2 million. Of course, there are the grounds, the things outside the building that are about $2 million. But it's still, because of the new gym, the extra space, and meeting what you guys wanted to see in this center, we're going to have to work hard, and I know our team is ready to look under every rock for dollars, external funding sources, as well as if we're not able to cover that gap, we got to find more city sources as well. So I feel comfortable that we want to get this right. This is a generational investment, and so it didn't make sense to just stick to the arbitrary $11 million that we came up with as a budgeted estimate, especially with the way prices have been going. So we're committed to getting to that realizing this full vision, and we can talk to our council members too if we do have to go back to the Common Council, and Councilman Davis, I hope to get your support if we do have to come back to council for additional funds for the center.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. So, and if you didn't get a chance to see it earlier today, we were excited. Our engagement and economic empowerment team, who's been leading the engagement on this process. First, give them a round of applause for all the work they've been doing to get your feedback. But even more exciting, we had a grant. We announced a grant, one of 3 cities from City Start Initiative, a Bloomberg Philanthropies initiative that will help us build a blueprint for financial empowerment. And it's particularly relevant for this conversation because the center could ultimately become part of the new King Center. So you were with us to build the dream. I hope to see many of you with us to build the blueprint for financial empowerment as that process moves forward. And then finally, thank the planning team in the back that you see they've been working hard on a Kennedy Park neighborhood plan, and that's just some glimpses into all the feedback that's gone into that, and hopefully that plan will get finalized soon too, so we can start to get to work implementing it. So lots of great things to be excited about. Look forward to finally breaking the ground toward the end of the year, because you'll see design tonight, and they'll give all the caveats about the process here, but then it goes into engineering. So this is, artist and the design, and then the engineers come and they say, well, you can't do that, that won't work, or for whatever reason, physics and other things. So what you see here, there will be still a lot of chances to move some of the pieces around, because one, it'll have to, just based off of engineers, but also as you get there, you'll say, yeah, that probably doesn't make exactly, this isn't exactly right, you need to move things around. So still some flexibility through the process, want to keep you engaged, but this is definitely the vision, and we look forward to realizing it together. So thank you. And I don't know if Mo, you're not emceeing, I'll just introduce Alkina Aldridge. She's coming back up to go through the process, how we got here, and anything else that she wants to share. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for being here yet again for another meeting, but this time really exciting one. I think when we started this process, I said, join us on an engagement sort of sprint. And it's turned into an engagement marathon, and it will really continue to be that until we get this thing started or built. So I'm really excited to continue this process with you. I want to thank the mayor and everyone internally and externally who has participated in this process, particularly our volunteer CAG, our community advisory group. If you're here, could you raise your hand? Can you give them a round of applause, please? And again, thank you to the mayor and everyone internally. We started this with an $11 million number, and that immediately from your engagement became very clear that that's not enough money. And so the mayor and VPA and everyone internal has been working really hard, and Meticulous has been patient with us as we work that out. And I want to thank the council as well for being here and supporting this. So Councilmember Davis, I think that's all that's here. Again, if we have to come back to you to council, we thank you already for your support. But without further ado, I want to thank you for your engagement again, and we will do some, let's watch our journey. Maybe. Based on the community's input, we've gathered over 700 individual responses from surveys, voicemails, letters, and public meetings. Together with the community, we are taking into account what indoor and outdoor spaces will look like, what programs the community wishes to see, and how we can use this as an opportunity to transform and enhance our city and create a place where everyone can join together in love and peace. The feedback and input received has been overwhelming.
There's such a big need for mental health centers. We talked about the ability to partner with a local school corporation in order to pick up the slack where they're not doing something we could.
We would even like to see a racetrack going around. I mean, like a roller skating rink, on top of an ice rink, on top of a walking track. Like, we're dreaming, let's dream big.
It shows the strength of our community and highlights what we've known all along, that the center is special, that our community cares, and that the new center will continue to mold and shape our young people and be a gathering space for all, like the anchor it has been for so many years. As you see the new center, we hope to see your passion and vision reflected in the design. That has been our labor of love for you, and you have been vital to building the dream. To build the dream, we are creating a world-class intergenerational community center. We are envisioning the new center to be relevant and impactful, inclusive, excellent, and sustainable. These guiding principles will enable the center to be a place where community takes root and grows, positive relationships are built, and individuals of all ages are connected to resources and opportunities that support their personal and professional growth. These are the principles that have made the Martin Luther King Center so special for generations for our residents. And these are the principles that will guide a future campus where the dream can thrive and create opportunity for all neighbors. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. First I couldn't get it to play, now I'm playing it again. We've gathered over 700 individual responses from surveys, voicemails, letters, and public meetings, together with the community.
There we go. So thank you again for your engagement. And I just want to thank Meticulous and invite them to the mic now to show us the dreams that we've built together and that we'll continue to walk with. Thanks.
We are taking into
She left me with the problem, right?
what programs this as an opportunity to transform.
There we go. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. There we go. This is a celebration, right? This is a celebration, the culmination of all of your hard work. So before I say anything else, I want you to give yourselves a big round of applause. Come on, let me hear it. Let me hear it. We're able to stand here this evening because of not just the individuals here in this room this evening, but because of each and every individual that has contributed to this great process. This has been one of the best processes I have ever been a part of. You should be extremely proud of all that you've done to contribute to this process. So definitely from my heart and from our team's heart, we have our team over here. So it's not just Damon that, doing all the everything. We have a team here, we have engineers, we have people that are contributing behind the scenes to help pull everything together. So we are here this evening, and we will always and continue until the ribbon is cut to remind everyone of the purpose, and that is to transform the King Center into a world-class intergenerational community dream center campus, inspiring hope for us all. So that is what was the start and what will continue to be the heart of what we do for this project. So this is just a brief review of all of the different sessions that have led us to here. So it's not just been one session of input or two. There have been several sessions in which before, and I'll reiterate this, before we ever as a team put one single line on paper with what we wanted to have, we said we are not designing this facility. Each and every community member in the city all helped create this vision. So these meetings represent, and you can see from where we are now, the final presentation today is the journey that we've been on together. So phase one is what we are celebrating this evening, which is the pre-design programming and the concept visioning. As was mentioned earlier, there's still a journey ahead of us, and that is to now create all of the documents that a contractor can take to build the facility. So we are going to be going into the next phase of phase two, which is the architectural and engineering design development, which will include looking at the interior spaces in more detail, looking at all of the details of the materials and colors. So I'll state again, what you see this evening is one part of the process. It is not the final element that will be built. There's still a lot of study and design that needs to go into color selection, material selection, all of the details, understanding availability of material in the market. So these next two phases are critical, and there's a lot of work to go into the next several phases here. So a brief overview, one of the key components, we pull several words from the process that help define where we've been together. One of the key words, the first word I would like to highlight is the word trust. I remember the first meeting we had here in this gym, and before I could finish saying good evening, the community participated right away to set the ground for what this process is going to be. And we respected it and we welcomed it. But from that moment, we were able to build together trust in this process. And it helped to create a transparency, shared thought, and unity throughout this process. So without the elements that broke down that initial barrier of who's this team coming in, what are they going to be doing, telling us what to do? Once we got through all of that breakdown, we were able to have a party together and go into each other's minds and spirits and hearts about what we wanted to create for this community. So here are a set of, from the design team, some concept statements that we extracted from everything that was communicated to us and with us through this process. So one of the keys in the concept statement is a beacon of hope, that this new facility would shine a light which would regenerate energy and passion and fire from all generations in this community. And it helped us to focus on making it relevant and impactful, inclusive, excellent, and sustainable. The second one is there was a focus on digesting and breaking down elements of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and having an understanding of how it related to the Linden community and South Bend. So the three elements of that were definitely focusing on mind, which was connecting back to the Linden School and MLK as a scholar. Hopefully, you know, there are certain things that we know about him, but understanding how he went to college at the age of 16 and how he has multiple degrees, education was a major factor in his life and how he was able to communicate and articulate everything passionately for the civil rights movement. So that's extremely important. And then the body, representing the physical exertion of the marching and all that was done through that struggle. And still, the struggle continues today. But to have us now as a legacy and to build for a future legacy, having that, as you'll see in the design of the indoor track, having the opportunity to have that to go and exert yourself and walk around that track so you can sweat and feel what it's like to just go on a journey for self-improvement physically, and then to be able to think about what happened in the past and then the current struggles for what we want to achieve as we go forward into the future. And then the spirit, and recognizing that he was a minister, he was a preacher who in everything he did made sure that he integrated the Spirit of God and making sure that that flowed through what he was fighting for humanity. And then history and legacy, making sure that we do intertwine and incorporate aspects from the history of the Linden School, the site, the community, and the city of South Bend, and making sure in several ways throughout the design, and we'll get more into the details in the next process, in the next stage of how we integrate those details into the overall project. And some of the elements that you will see that we took from the journey, the life of MLK, the civil rights movement. You know, one of the details in this particular slide talks about unity, or the arms of unity, which in this particular image, it shows the unification and the march and the walk of how the arms were united. And in the design, we were able to take this pattern and give an abstract pattern with the window mullion pattern that would simulate linking of the arms of unity that surrounds the facility in the building. So even though it is not a direct, you don't see, arms up on the building and, pictures of people's arms locked, it's a subliminal way to let you know that the unity of this community and the unity of the civil rights movement and fight surrounds and encompasses this building and this site and this community. And an activated campus with unique features. So one of the things that we did not want to do was replicate other amenities that were already existing in other facilities around this community. So we, through all of the input and feedback, we sought to extract those unique elements that would be specific to this site so that we can build relationships between the other facilities, maximize the use of the other facilities, but make this a special place not only in the Linden community, not only in South Bend, but unique to the nation for what this center could represent. So having a multi-purpose field, having an integrated library into the Dream Room, which is a specific community gathering space in the building, having an elevated indoor track, having market stalls, which you can have to during your market celebrations in the community, having enhanced playgrounds and splash pad, having shaded structures and other opportunities for gathering out in the site. And one of the other features which we'll see in the layout being an indoor playground adjacent to the outdoor playground, with what we're looking at is a wall that opens up to allow outdoor activity. So here we go. So you've seen the site plan several times, and along the wall you just see whiteboards right now, but we'll flip these boards over so you can walk up and look at the design in more detail. And I want to remind you, this is not close your mouth, don't ever say anything, we're just going to go ahead and build it. We still want to hear thoughts, feedback from the community at any point in time so that we can continue to have your voice be heard in what we do. So here is the revised site plan. In general, most of the elements are similar. We've just pushed and pulled and tweaked to align with master plans from the city and make sure that we have elements on the site where they need to be so we can maximize the overall site layout. So the building is here on the corner of College and Linden. We have the parking that has shifted south of the building, and it's definitely a larger parking facility than was existing here on the site to accommodate the larger building. This is a water detention area that we're currently having on site. So you'll see the existing basketball courts have now shifted adjacent to the parking. So we still have 3 courts. We have 2 full courts and 2 half courts here. And that's, we wanted to make sure we maximize the multi-purpose sports field. So we didn't want to go 3 full courts and have them side by side. So we created 2 half courts so you can have essentially 4 games going on simultaneously. We have the outdoor playground, splash pad, and then an outdoor pavilion that can either be connected to the multi-purpose field, or up here is where we have the market stalls, which is a shaded structure where tables can be set up for community members to be able to come in and set up either food or items for the community's use. So this is the overall new site plan. We also have identified through discussions with the city having an outdoor or a separated garage, which would be able to hold 2, I believe, 15-passenger buses. Yeah, so 2 15-passenger vans, because we heard that the community needs transportation to get to and fro. So now we have a location to store these 2 vehicles. And I will walk you through. So these are the revised floor plans based on all of the feedback. Now I'm going to tell you, everything that you asked for made it extremely difficult to try to get as much in this design as possible. We believe we have achieved the maximum amount of comments and input into this building as possible. And it's still, as the mayor said, there's still a lot of work to do to get in the things that you all don't care about, like mechanical shafts and electrical closets. And I won't bore you with the details, but all of those things need to go in there. So we have 2 gyms. I want to hear a round of applause one more time. 2 full-size gyms. Yes, 2 full-size gyms to accommodate all types of programming, championship tournaments. I might even bring Jordan out here one day and we get out here with the youth and do something on these courts. But the 2 indoor courts would allow for, there would be a separation curtain that would come down, and you can have separate or you can have it open. There's even talk of wanting to be able to roller skate in this big open floor. So we are definitely looking to study how to have a durable floor and other elements to potentially incorporate the ability to roller skate. There's a large atrium with stairs that go up, of course, to the second floor with an elevator. We have storage. We have more storage for what is over here is the large multi-purpose room. So it is a large room that can be divided into 3 smaller rooms, or 2 can be combined into 2 and then 1. So it can be different configurations to host different community functions for the space. In addition to the multi-purpose, you also have a commercial kitchen, which will be able to host prepared food prep for events on the site. And also with the commercial kitchen, we're going to have a pass-through window, which would then be able to serve for outdoor functions. Going up to this corner is the large indoor playground. This is a very unique feature. It's not going to be like a bouncy castle or anything like that. We're still going through the function, but it will be a unique indoor playground for all ages, and it's going to be unique. And again, I mentioned that we're looking to potentially have the wall to have sliding glass wall that opens up so we can have connectivity with indoor-outdoor. Still studying it and to see. Okay, so we also have the art room and makerspace. So we have looked to do different functions for, and we combined some of the rooms. So previously, when the building was a little bit bigger because everybody was dreaming so big, we had to figure out how to accommodate different functions. So what you'll see when you start to look at the plans is that we've combined certain functions that work well together so that we wouldn't eliminate any of the programming. We also have a computer lab in the space. It's a smaller computer lab we're looking at 5 to 6 fixed computers in that space, but we didn't do a big, massive computer lab classroom because we've provided breakout space in the atrium where there can be some soft seating in areas where people can be on their devices who already have computers, but the computer lab would be for a handful of individuals that might need computer training and education. And of course, we have toilets with changing area and a couple of showers in the locker room. And then we have a child watch area and administrative areas and an office for the admin and reception. And the corner space is the Dream Room community space. So one of the other changes from before, so doing any project of this scale, you have to create some efficiency in the building. So originally in the last plan, we had 2 separate entries, one from Linden and one from College. We've consolidated the entries into one entry that is in between. So you can still access it from the parking and still access it and see it primarily from the intersection of Linden and College. So that's the first floor. Second floor, this is open to below to the basketball courts, but you have the large indoor track. So you will be able to get your laps in and burn some calories and have some fun up there. There's storage and egress stair to get out in case there's an emergency. But up here, so in the last version, we were having to look at the yoga / dance studio as potentially coming out because we were getting too big of a project. But we were able to, in this revised layout, able to get in the dance and yoga space as well as a larger fitness area. I know there was, said we want to get at least 1 or 2 more treadmills because the line gets too long. So we should be able to get in 1 or 2 more treadmills and keep everybody happy. And then we also added, maybe you remember, maybe you don't, but we had an outdoor terrace, which we were calling the balcony of brotherhood. So, that image over there where the 4 brothers or 3 are with MLK. So we wanted to have a balcony of brotherhood here in this center that would give reflection, and we'll have maybe some inscriptions or some different things to help us reflect on that moment and reflect on the sacrifice and the support of that brotherhood and sisterhood for this journey. But what we did not have last time was a community space that could support the outdoor terrace. So now you have an indoor space where we can have a small kitchenette that would actually make it more functional and usable instead of just going up and going out onto a terrace. And we also have a couple of restrooms because you said we need to have some toilets upstairs. So we put those. So this is an outdoor space. And then we also, and this is just part of the process, but we had 2 large areas of green roof. And green roof, 2 large areas means green dollars. So we consolidated it, still provided it. We did not eliminate it completely. So we have that green space where it can actually be appreciated better with the outdoor terrace. Now, we get into the building design from the exterior. And what we're looking from the intersection of College and Linden. So the focus, this is the gym, this is the dream room, and the pattern that I had mentioned about the arms folded in that abstract way is this shifting pattern. So if you actually draw lines over it, it will connect into diamond shapes which represent the folded arm. So we're looking to have, which we had the large MLK letters in the last iteration. We still maintain those large letters, but we've created them now to signify the entry area of the building. Additionally, so we're looking at the gym, the upper level track area of the gym, and this is the lower level where you can look into and see the basketball courts. We're looking to also have some key words. These might not be the final words, but unity, peace, hope, equality, and love, to have those broadcast as the beacon of the community. So as you approach the building, you're reminded of some of those key elements of the civil rights movement. Now we're looking north on College. So this is, at some point we can probably have a 3D model to show you, but what you're looking at, so when you're going south on College, these are vertical louvers to help block the sun so it doesn't blind people playing basketball, and it reduces solar heat gain and some other technical functional things. But what we've done is make sure we maintain the good indirect light, but instead of just having these big panels that are blank and hide the sun, we now have opportunity to introduce art on the building facade, so it's just not a blank canvas on this side of this extremely important side of College. So some of the details are looking at shade structure, allowing a lot of natural daylight. Now you look in, there is not one window in this facility. But now we're introducing natural daylight so that you can feel connected to the earth, to the sky, to natural daylight. This is a view looking the overall campus. So if we're up in a helicopter looking down towards, this is Linden and this is College. So you see the building. One other element that we're showing, and hopefully it'll go according to plan, but we have solar panels on the overall gym for sustainability aspects of the project. So the building is here at the corner of Linden and College, parking here, and the large multi-purpose outdoor space. These are the market stalls. So the idea again is that with the upgrades from the city master plan, you would be able to block off between Linden and Birdsell and then have a block party and have those market stalls with tables set up. And then there's space behind those market stalls where pop-up tents could also be located. And this is another view looking down a little closer. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate, these are not necessarily the final colors and the final details. These are indicating where these elements would go. So you don't necessarily have to expect that the playground's going to be red, or that's not even the actual equipment. That still needs to be designed. It needs to be red. Well, So we'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that. So, and it's just to remind everybody that there's still more to this journey to go. But these are all of the elements that you ask for through this process. So we're showing you that they are in here, and we're going to continue to evolve it and make it beautiful and lasting. And then this is another view looking back across toward College at the building. So this is the location of the indoor playground. And again, looking to, one of the requests was the indoor playground be close to the outdoor playground. So if parents are inside with smaller kids or vice versa, there would be a visual connection between these program spaces. And this is the last slide. So we want to say a huge, big thank you. So one more time, I want to hear the building shake from a round of applause for your design that you created. MLK, Linden community, you have been spectacular and awesome. And we look forward to continuing this journey with you. Yes. So we're going to flip the boards over, and you can go up, touch, zoom it, look at it, and get your thoughts. If any questions are there, our team is here. We can answer any questions that you might have, but we're going to flip the boards over, and you have free time to go and look at those boards and tell us what you think.